Thank you, Toot.
Hello everyone, good morning. I think I need to turn the music down a little bit, just a touch. Hey! We've got an ad going for another minute 20, so I'm gonna switch over in a second. But for the people who are here, good morning Mike. Enjoy your coffee. Orange mocha frappuccino. Good morning, Charles. Have a good coffee. Good morning, Lady Argyle. Ooh, Winchester iced latte. That is so good. Mike says the Saturday morning crew is gathering. Yes. Saturday morning stitching squad, assemble. Lady A, good morning. You were looking to see if anyone you knew was creating a few minutes ago, so glad to see your notification pop up. I will be here most Saturday mornings if I'm feeling up to it. Alright, let's hop on over to our main event here so you can see the kids. See what's going on. I need to put on my sweater. I'm actually cold now. Hey Moon, good morning! And Toot reminding us all, September 14th, 7 p.m. That is tomorrow, Sunday. Moon and I will be live together on Twitch, so we'll both be streaming. There's going to be a shared chat, so no matter who you're actively watching, you'll be able to see the chat from both streams. And yeah.
Good morning, starshine.
Cryptic, good morning. Thank you so much for the sub. What a way to start off our Saturday. Good morning, good morning. Cryptic is a good heckin' bean. Which means you get to be in our book. Welcome to the scrapbook. I'm going to use pink for your name because I think that will be appropriate. Not me watching my sound meter bar bounce. Whenever the cats are jumping around. Perfect says, I try to be anyway. Sometimes I just go off on someone to start stream and not mention names. Sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. Alright, I'm gonna give you a few sticker choices here. Here. I'm not gonna put them directly on the book because that's confusing. Okay. Alright, which sticker would you like in our book, Cryptic? All the hellos. Alien with the black hat. Gotcha. I'm actually gonna, so I got a huge pack of alien stickers and I pulled out like 10 or 12 that I thought would be good for the month. Might have to pull out some more, to be real honest. Which is great. I love it. Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday. We're going to be doing some cozy stitching. Still have to get out my project. I was not stitching this morning. I was being a Gen Z, and I got Gen A. I got distracted by watching TikToks, so. And this is going to be cryptic. And let's do, I think that wasn't quite the neon pink I wanted it to be, but heck it, we ball. Here we go. Thank you so much for the resub. Welcome to the book. So if you want to get a sticker in the book, subs, bits, raids, and then at the end of the month, I'm gonna add a bit of more stats, like if we made Star Seller that month in the shop, how many how many Patreon members we had, that kind of stuff. So just like some more cool stats about the month. But yeah, if you'd like to join the book, subs, bits, raids, and then you get a cool sticker and your name in the book. Yes, Mike. Moon's amazing nails are often from Hollow Taco. They look very cool. A while ago, Moon did like a full manicure on stream with like a tour of her nail polish collection. It was very interesting because I'm not like a nail polish girly. Because until recently I was a nail chewer, actually. So I never did nail polish. Yay, book! Be back in just a few. Coffee and kids' food needed. Absolutely. Go do the things. I have coffee. Bye-bye! And yes, Lady A, the Pow is a tortoise. I know, she's not usually, she's been pretty chilling in the back of her enclosure for the last several streams. Coffee would be so good right now. Okay, I'm gonna call Commander and wake him up and make him make you coffee. So yeah, I haven't stitched yet today. Well, there you go. You got the Toot special. Because I was watching TikTok and then I was working on our stack of stuff to be finished, which, as you know, is plentiful, but this is this morning's project. Because we finally got hoops for like almost everything that needs a hoop. We're still working on frames for things that are frames. Okay, Moon, hold the phone up really close to him. Let me know when it's there. Everybody else, close your ears. Commander, wake up! I hope that worked. Let's go! My power stretches across provinces. Lady A says, can't hoops become frames? Yes, by frames I mean like rectangular frames. So yeah, so I got, because I do a lot of framing in hoops. So I've put stuff in frames. in hoops. I just need to lace them now. I have a lot that I need to do. So this morning was getting them into the hoops and then starting to lace them. So yes, these aren't all my finishes. Most of these are Toots. So this was Toots, black welt stitching. This Toot stitched it, but it's one of mine. This I stitched, and it's of Toot. This I designed Toot stitched. Toot stitched this one, it's a Mama Witch. Toot stitched this one, it is Sweet Something Stitchery. And then I designed this, and Toot and Moon both stitched it. Commander said he wants to try pickle powder in the coffee. We have pickle syrup for when you guys come over. Moon and Toot did this as a round robin, so Toot stitched themselves and Moon stitched themselves. And it's kind of interesting because they stitch in opposite directions and you can kind of see it. I don't think this camera is going to focus well enough, but you can definitely see it. Okay, so and then I got these laced. Toot stitched this one, it's a Mama Witch. I laced that. I laced this is one of mine. I laced this, another one of mine. This one is an upcoming release, actually. It's going to be coming out in October, if you couldn't guess. I framed this. This is just like a little frame that I found at the dollar store. And this is for my ridiculously tiny Quaker. I know it doesn't fit like perfectly, but for a $2 frame, I'll take it. And then this one is going up in our front hall to stitch this. But yeah, Possum Traveler is just, this one is so well done. The amount of colors changes, the back stitching. What does laced mean? So people lace things in different ways, but basically this is how I do it. I weave the thread in and out all around, and then I tighten it up, and then I like basically just lace across the back as much as I can. Sometimes that's like one time, sometimes it's several times. Let me see. Yeah, this one I didn't have enough thread to lace it all, so it's just cinched. But yeah, and then this one I think is I got one in. Sorry, reading back a little bit. Messy says, I love the tiny ones. Thank you so much. Yeah, so these little guys I designed myself. And this one. And this one. So these two are Patreon patterns. This is the current September Patreon pattern. Let's see if I can... Toot, can you do the Patreon command? I'm a little bit discombobulated here. And then this one is available in the store, and then this one's coming out in October, and then this one was a past Patreon. Also, hi, Messy, good morning. Grab coffee, come hang out. And Lady A asked what laced means. And says the Quaker is cool. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased with the Quaker. So the way to finish a project is lacing. It's a way to finish a project. It's not the only way. You don't need to lace it. You could use hot glue. You could use masking tape, duct tape. You could do what I did with this one and just shove it into the frame and then fold the little tabbies over it. That also works. But lacing is a way to finish cross-stitch. And thank you so much for saying we're both so talented. That is very sweet. Toot is a phenomenally prolific stitcher and way neater than I am. Like, their backs are insane. Like, okay. Look at that back compared to this one. This is mine. This is Toot's. Different level. Messy Reader's having Dutch Bros Pineapple Coconut Rebel with a cherry float. I think we're all on the way. I think we're all on the way to get some of that. I keep hearing about Dutch Bros. Like, I know that they've been around for a while, but I don't know why I'm just hearing that name a lot recently. Toot says I travel like a motherfucker, though. Yeah. Yeah, that's because starting and ending threads is the literal worst. I have to move this back a little bit. Alright, so we're working on Enchantress today. This is a Dimensions kit. It's my first Dimensions kit. This is the kit. I absolutely fell in love with this one. You know, it's very witchy, very me. So it did come as a paper pattern. However, if you didn't know, you can email Dimensions, or Simplicity, which is their parent company, and request a PDF version of any of their paper patterns. If you use Pattern Keeper, they don't go into Pattern Keeper so that you can search the symbols, but if you use Pattern Keeper, you can still take off the symbols, so it's handy. So that's what I have up here. Good morning, Charles. You fell asleep again, that's okay. Sorry about that. Coffee's so good. Up to 3 a month. Yeah, apparently there's a limit of 3 a month because when the word came down that Dimensions parent company was sold to something. They went bankrupt and they got sold to someone else, and it was all wibbly wobbly. Charles tried to back up their pattern stash before they went under, and they got a little bit irritated that Charles was trying to get too many patterns. Okay, and unfortunately I don't even have a thread started. The last thing I was working on was like this dark gray here, which is 3 strands over 1 on 20 count. It looks great. It is not, it's not easy on the fingers to stitch. So let's see. Maybe I will... Toot says pay no attention to the paranormal activity on Springy's cam. Toot trying to find Springy in the cam. fill in some of this area here, I think. So I was originally doing this on the diagonal. I'm gonna move this coffee, it's making me nervous. Yep. Okay. Although, I'm right to be nervous. I started doing this from this corner on the diagonal, like filling it in like a full coverage. It is a full coverage with parking, and then I realized that I really don't like parking and it makes me super nervous, so I stopped doing that. So I'm just kind of like filling in chunks as I come to them now. I do kind of like one strand at a time. And it looks like this whole section is one color, so that'll be nice and easy to do on stream. I just have to figure out what that color is. It's probably half stitches too. $14, 2, 2, 1. Also, this feels like a nightmare, but I was also told not to try and resort it or anything, so I will not. Never have trouble with knots on these, and of course I do when I'm on stream. Stay over there. Actually, I would normally do one length with a loop start because I never know how much stitching I'm going to do in one area. However, I know I'm doing a lot of stitching in that area, so I'm just going to do 2 strands with a buried start. So be it. Good morning, Stitches Well with Vodka over on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Every time you catch your live, you have to go be a wife, mama, etc. Well, have a good morning, whatever you gotta do. And, yeah, come back and hang out when you can. Thank you, Lady A. Lady A says, background art, it looks very pretty. It does. I love the effect of the half stitches. It makes it look very watercolory. And then it also, and because like all of this is half stitches, and a bunch of this is half stitches too, it makes the full stitches on her stand out more, which I really like. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Toot.
Thank you for the hydrate, too. And it appears my needle is somewhere in the bottom of my project bag again. So I made this stitch, this needle minder, because it's incredibly cursed. Like, look at that. Is that not the most DH core cursed thing? But it doesn't hold needles terribly well. Is the problem. I think just because it's like, it's too thick, so the magnet can't get all the way through the all-seeing eye. Toot says, why do I let you buy things? Because you love me. Toot bought me this, though. But I don't know. I think the rest of my 26 pony blacks are in the other room, so I will deal with a 26 DMC. Oh, yes, Mike, sorry, you asked a question and I got distracted. Squirrel. Yes, the Dimensions kit calls for a variable number of threads. From 2 to 5. Of course, for my very first Dimensions kit, I couldn't do it as written, because that would have been too easy. So what I did instead was I decided to do it on 20 count easy grid. And then have the number of threads. However, I made this decision before taking a really good look at the pattern, because I kind of like assumed in my naivete that the entire thing was done in 2 threads. It was not. So I then decided that I was going to have the number of threads rounding up. So if it calls for 3, I use 2. If it calls for 4, I use 2. If it calls for 5, I use 3. Working out so far. Commander has become Artemy Barak. They just ate raw coffee beans. Maybe I woke them up too early. Maybe that one's on me. That boy ain't right. We have so many pins and stuff that are meant to be... I'm just gonna mess with the camera a little bit, see if I can get this a little bit of a better angle for you guys. Yeah, it's looking pretty. I could zoom in too, but then I would have to remember to always be stitching right here. We have so many pins that need to be turned into needle minders that I need to like get a jump on them. But I think I've figured out the best way for me to do the this style of pin as opposed to the enamel pins with the straight pin backs. So I probably work on some of those today. I did one of my vintage anime pins this yesterday as well, not this morning. I also did an enamel pin, but I kind of messed it up a little bit, so. But it's okay. Not in like a, I can't use this anymore way, more in a, well, that's, but like at the same time, I'm not trying to sell these. They're just for us to use. So I think I need to let go of some of that like absolute perfectionism. Done is better than good. So what are you guys working on this cozy Saturday morning? We've got stitching, we've got coffee, got our kids. Toot says nicely done is good too. Yes, I do strive for nicely done. I think just going for perfectly done is the enemy of getting stuff done. Mike says, did you get your headshot and bio done yet? I did. I did get my headshot and bio done. It took me way too long to take a headshot because I don't know how to smile like a human. I've got that autism smile going on. I basically took like a ton of photos and sent to like 12 different shots of myself. Like, how do I smile like a human? But we came up with one that looks good. Toot is stitching on Leshy. Let's go. I'm excited for the wall of Leshies. Be so good. Charlotte is trying to stitch on Misfit Forest, but the strand of 720 is giving you so much trouble. I hate when that happens, when it's just like one unruly strand. It's not even an unruly bobbin. It's just one strand. Stitches Well with Vodka says, do you stream every Saturday morning? What time zone? I want to set a reminder for the next one. Yes, I stream Stitch With Me's Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern. I do co-working, which I don't have a mic on for that. We're just hanging out and vibing while I work on the business. I do that Monday afternoon, 2 to 5, and Thursday morning, 10 to 1. Lady A asks, what is Leshy? Leshy is a Slavic folklore figure. He's kind of like a forest deity, but also a character in a couple different video games. So, like, taking that forest deity idea and applying it to the game world. And Toot is... Yes, that is Leshy from Inscription in Toot's emotes. So yeah, Toot kind of collects versions of Leshy. And we're gonna have a big stitched wall of them. Very excited. You're having breakfast and just realized that the driveway guy is coming today? Oops. Oh no. Well, I wish you luck with that. With having to human. Cheryl, why did you curse me? I'm now having issues with this thread. Cheryl cursed me. Wonder if this is strong enough. pass it on, you just got a strand of the floss free. Oh no. I'm trying to, you guys aren't sure what I'm doing. I have this extra fabric over here that every time I move this hand, I have to like get back under it. I'm trying to figure out a way to keep it out of the way. I do have grime guards that I might grab. Let's see. Oh, you can't see her beautiful. Mike is still working on the electric blue cabin Quaker pattern. You're nearing the end of a skein and hope you have another one. I hope so too. It looks great. I really love that blue. It's so sharp. Good morning, Collie. Welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. Oh, he's just fixing the botch seal from July. It's all good. Just have to move your car. Well, that's good at least. Yes, Mike is doing a fantastic job doing a test stitch for me on an upcoming Quaker. I love doing patterns that have, like the cabin Quaker isn't a super twisty twist on the formula. It does have a very specific frame of reference in terms of aesthetics. But I love doing traditional styles with a bit of a twist to them, if you hadn't noticed. That and small critters that give Toot cute aggression. I know you can't really see what I've been doing so far, but you will start to see it fill in. Hey, good morning, Gwen. Finally figured out the best way to handle nighttime with the tripod while she recovers. She let me sleep in today. Oh, good. Good, good, good. How's she doing? They're so resilient. I'm sure she will bounce back just fine. Did you see a hint recently that you may have another tiny sampler coming up? Yes. Yes. I'm brewing up something. It's not quite my news to share though, so I'm working on it a little bit on stream. But there will be more samplers in the works. I am working on the Alien Quaker that I finished on the design that I was working on one of the co-working streams. That was the other possible project for today. I went for Enchantress instead. So this is the Alien Quaker. I'm almost halfway there, which doesn't feel like it, but there's only a few more big motifs left to go. And it's super tiny, so. She's doing great. Doing great. She found a way to keep the plush coat on that she can't get off. Good. You're genius. Cute bag, thank you. this is an original potato sack. Charles made me some project bags and I have named them potato sacks. I don't know what they would actually like to call them, but that's what I call them. So yeah, so Charles made this one for me. So I have a couple in this size, and then I have a couple in this size. This one has sharks on it. But yeah. You were thinking you'd use that name? Good. I love my original potato sacks. Ben says monkey yelled at you for 6 for brekkie and again at 8 for Mer. You don't have any bubbles. Aw. You got vinyl while you were at the creative reuse shop. So maybe sometime this winter you might have some project bags in your future. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Well, you know I am around to help you with the back end of Etsy stuff if you need it, Charles. And then we can all have potato sacks. I did my regular, speaking of Etsy, I did my regular Thursday release on Thursday, but yesterday I put up a second release. It's not really a release. The Patreon pattern that cycled up to being available in the retail store, that went up yesterday as well, and that was the Astera Witch. So if you guys want to pick that one up. Mike says, I think Potato Shoe Charles, that you should call the project bag Saks Fifth Avenue. Good morning, Maya. Welcome in, welcome in. Just doing some cozy cross stitch this morning. I'm working on this piece. You can see the snippet of what it's going to look like down in the corner there. Looks pretty, thank you so much. I was just thinking, so I don't do full coverage. I have like one full coverage started other than this one. And I'm doing full cross on it, which means doing like full X's. So I don't have a lot of experience working in half cross, which is what I'm doing right now, which is half across. So it's just one leg of the stitch. So it's an interesting experience for me because the stitch path is different. And I don't know if I don't plan my stitch path. I am not that kind of stitcher. I do not want to be that kind of stitcher. It stresses me out. But I know that a lot of people really get a lot of enjoyment from planning their stitching path and having that kind of like set out. It's just not me. So I'm also trying to find a clip right now because I think I have some clips. Oh, success. Okay. So yeah, it's been interesting because like I usually stitch Danish, which is when you do like you go across a row doing one leg and then going back another way. But like you don't have to, that's not an option with half cross, because if you go across it one way, you're done. You don't have to go back. But I still find myself going in rows, but just going down to the next row. Toot says, imagine DH not wanting to plan. Listen. We all enjoy different aspects of cross stitch. Welcome back, Cryptic. That went longer than expected. You had to have a deep discussion about last night. Yeah. I am glad for your kids' sake that you are having those discussions, though. I think it'll be really valuable for them in the future. So yeah, like I go over a row and then I'm done. So I have to go down to the next row and go back. So it's not really like typewriter, it's a snake. Oh, it's a snake. But I still find myself doing the rows back and forth to fill in areas, even though I don't need to. I don't know, it's just like a comfort thing. But speaking to Toot's point about imagine DH not wanting to plan, I've said it before in a few different contexts, but I think that the reason that so many of us come back to cross stitch, go to cross stitch in the first place, is because there are so many different ways to do it. I'm going to use Moon as an example because it's an easy example. So when Toot and I were doing a lot of cross-stitching, Moon was really interested in it and wanted to get into it, but they kind of had this idea that, like many other hobbies that they had tried, like many of us with neurodivergence and ADHD try, we do it for 2 weeks and then set it down and never go back to it. So that was 2 years ago, and as you know, Moon is still stitching. And I think the reason that it appeals to neurodivergent brains is because for people with ADHD, like myself, there's a lot of novelty, not just starting new projects, but different techniques you can use, different methods, different fabrics. There's a lot of ways that you can find novelty in the craft. Whereas if you are someone who has a more rigid thinking style, like many autistic people do, there is a sense of regularity and sameness to it that they find comforting. Like you can do the same thing over and over and over again, and you have a predictable result, like eating crackers instead of grapes. So I think it appeals to different people because it provides different things depending on what you put into it. Stitches Well says, I just go wherever the needle takes me. If I spy a few stitches above the line I'm on, I'll jump up and stitch it. I like the idea of doing it Danish style though too. Yeah, like I'm a little bit the same, whereas I do mostly Danish style, and I think that's because that's what I learned first. I didn't even know you like were allowed, quote unquote, to do English style until a couple of years ago. So I'll kind of do like chaos Danish, where it's mostly Danish with like a little bit of I need to go here, I need to go here, I need to go here. Lady A says, what is Danish style versus English? I don't know the terms. Honestly, I didn't know the terms either when I first came back to it. I just have to do some counting and then I will explain. Okay. So, Danish style is when you go across a row and you do the first leg of every stitch, and then you come back across the same row doing the second leg of every stitch. English style is when you create each X individually. Charles says, I love thinking about pathing. See, that's the thing. You can do pathing. You don't have to do pathing. Whatever works the best for your brain. Lady A says, I do a little bit of both, Danish when I can, but English when I need to. That's exactly how I stitch. And Cryptic says, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like I could see the benefits of both. Exactly, yeah. I feel like they both have kind of their place. Some people do all one, all the other. I think most people kind of do a mix of the two. But I mean, I can't speak for every stitcher. Gwen says chaos Danish. Gwen gets you. Charles says, I do chaos. Just whatever gets me where I need to go. Very valid. And says I definitely do both depending on the pattern. What? And yes, chaos Danish mostly. Mike says the tricky thing comes to... The tricky thing is reading. When you have a variegated hand-knife floss, when the English style is recommended. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So for a variegated floss, it's recommended to do one stitch at a time, so that the two legs match, basically. And Toot said, that said, I'm so strictly regimented with my stitching, it's the only place in my life that I'm not chaotic. And I think that's why. Because you like that sense of control over both the process and the outcome. It's why you like playing played up too. When Moon was considering getting into cross-stitching, she was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. And I said to her, do you enjoy mining in a straight line in Minecraft? She was like, that is my favorite thing to do in Minecraft. Then you will like cross-stitching. It says, wow, okay, I didn't ask for a read. Well, then don't know me as well as you do, I guess. Jix says, well, Toot, I didn't ask for visitors in my walls. You don't have visitors in your walls. You have permanent residents in your walls. Gwen. Gwen, you got this. Gwen, I believe in you. We all believe in you. Gwen is on the third to last row on their dress. And they're sure they have enough to learn. Also so much looking forward to this being done so you can start cross-stitching again. Yes, come back to us. Come back to us, Gwen. I hecked up that stitch. Mike says you may need to write an article for a magazine on the psychology of cross-stitching. I mean, I don't know how much of this is groundbreaking. I'm sure other people have said the same kind of thing. Because it is very, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good way to, I don't know. It feels like the most neurodivergent of all, the most neurodivergent of all crafts. Because there's something in it for everyone. I messed up somewhere here. The question is, how much do I care? I don't care enough. Okay. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Dude says it's the Soylent Green of crafts. It varies from person to person. And Gwen says more neurodivergent than scrapbooking, junk journaling. Yes. Because scrapbooking and junk journaling both have an element of chaos to them that certain flavors of neurodivergent people would not enjoy. You find crocheting to be very neurodivergent friendly? I did very much enjoy crochet and knitting when I could do them. Knitting was my mainstay for a long time. I have forgotten how to thread a needle. Oh my god, what did I do? Thank you for the appreciation there. Early is sleeping in the window, so I will appreciate her when we get up for our break in a minute or two. Trisha says that's fascinating about neurodivergence in crafts. I love scrapbooking and junk journaling, but cross stitch is where I'm now. Seriously, so interesting. Oh, thank you. Mike says I recommend a lick the thread method for threading, but that's a whole separate discussion. I mean, some people will swear by it, and some people will swear at it, so yeah, it is a whole other discussion, but for me, lick the thread is kind of a it's a last-ditch effort before I finally begrudgingly dig out the needle threader. Alright guys, we are going to take a quick break. I'm going to run 3 minutes of ads here on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, just enjoy the vibes. And go stretch, drink, unshrimp. I will see you guys back here in about 3 minutes. Hello, hello, welcome back everyone. Good morning, Wanna. Welcome in. Yes, Toot is a thread licker. So if you ever get a cross-stitch piece from them, you'll also get their DNA for cloning. You're welcome. Cryptic is drinking a pumpkin spice in Seattle's best dark roast. Yes, I made Toot an apple pie coffee, which is the International Delight seasonal creamer. Moon says that makes sense. The spices from apple pie sound good, but the apple part. Oh, and that's Toot's issue as well with it. Lady A has a 0 sugar iced tea lemonade and decaf 0 sugar once this is gone. Nom, nom, nom. Cryptic is putting their anxiety aside and going to do public things. Have an Amazon return to physically go do. Ugh. Good luck. Leaving a lurk up. Have a great rest of your day if you don't make it back. Good luck. You got this. We'll be here. Well, I'll be here. I'll still be stitching. I might not be live. I'll still be stitching and yeah. Lady A asked if we tried making the creamers at home. Nope. We, Toot and I are both disabled. And that is not something that we need to spend our limited spoons upon, I think. We're happy with the creamers. Oh, which is exactly what Toot just said. Moon says I'm a basic bitch with my caramel creamer. I use caramel creamer too. Toot says, I usually am. I don't know why I got tempted by new. Oh, right, because I'm a drink goblin. No, you're okay, Lady A. I know different people have different, like, when you're disabled and you only have a certain amount of spoons, you really have to pick and choose what you choose to use them on, and everyone has different priorities, right? Like for someone else, making their own homemade creamer would be worth the extra energy. For us, it's just not that high up on our priority lists. Moon says yes. Also ADHD. When it says I have a grain coffee when the translator makes sense. I will wait for the translation on that one because I don't know exactly what. Toot is a drink goblin, which is why we love them. I really like one of my favoritist things ever. I'm just trying to figure out where I am in the pattern because I've just been kind of stitching. Because I know I need to fill this section in, but I don't know like when I start going over further. It's down here. Okay. The glasses are coming off, guys. You know it's getting serious when the glasses are coming off. Oh, those are actually yellow stitches. I thought they were empty spaces. Moon says, I'm very lucky. Some things that take me a lot of spoons for Commander, it doesn't. That's good. That's good when you have that kind of balance. Especially if it's stuff that, like, takes a lot of brain spoons to get started. When you have more gaps in your motivation bridge to get started, and your partner doesn't have the same gaps, and they can just, like, do the thing, and you're like, okay, thank you for doing that thing. Want to put all their brain together and start at the Misfit Sal. Yay! I hope you enjoy it. And next week there is no new clue. It's a rest week, so you have time to chill and stitch. Charles says, I'm really enjoying the leaves on the Sal. They kind of are just blobs, but somehow also I can tell the red ones are maple leaves and the orangey ones are oak, I think. So good. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. I am trying to learn more about colors and shading and using shading to make those small details work, if that makes sense. Because when you're working with that few stitches, that few pixels, if you will, kind of every decision counts. Gwen just discovered an error from 4 rows ago. No. Gwen, are you gonna yeah, you're gonna fudge. Okay. Not gonna fix it, just need to figure out how to fudge it so the next few rows aren't even more broken. You got this, I believe. I have faith. Faith in your fudging abilities. Mike says, yay for the Misfit Sal. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying it. Everyone's is looking so great so far. Toot is on to clue 7. So that's exciting. I'm like rediscovering it as Toot is stitching it. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that detail. You can see from the start of stream, we've been filling in this kind of a darker antique mauve. And yeah, it's starting to come together. You can definitely tell the difference. Lydia asks, is Toot stitching it for the photos you put up with the clues? Yes. So in previous Sals, I have done the stitching for it. In this one, Toot volunteered to do the stitching for it, which I was very grateful for. So yeah, they're stitching. That's why they're stitching ahead of you guys, so that I do have the photos to put up. And Mike says, so the plan is basically for the Sal to work from the top of the fabric to the bottom. Yeah, you're filling it in top to bottom pretty much. I'm not going to do a bunch of jumping around. That was how I did the first one, the Tiny Witch Sal. If you guys have been watching Moon's channel, she's been working on Tiny Witch, which was my first Sal. And the way that I structured that one is I did it almost thematically, where I did the outline of the room first, and then like we put the fireplace in, and then we put in the stuff on the walls, like that kind of progression. But it meant that the first clue there was a lot of counting, which some people struggled with, most people struggled with. So I've changed up how I did my first clue after that, having learned from experience. September 140 Infinityth, 7 p.m. Yep. Tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Moon and I are going to be stitching together, but Moon will not be stitching on Tiny Witch. If you guys missed the announcement, Moon and I are having what we're calling the Cozy Autumn Moon Start Along. It's not a stitch along. There is no end date. We're all starting a project together. But basically bring out your your autumn smalls, if you have like a little ornament or a little piece that you want to get started, something autumn themed, we're all going to start them together tomorrow evening when we do our joint stream. I have a Mill Hill kit that I'm going to be working on. I believe Moon also has a Mill Hill. But you don't just have to do a Mill Hill, you can do any kind of autumn themed small. But yeah, we're gonna do that together. I think it'll be fun. Did I miss a stitch? Maybe. Let's just put an extra one in anyways. No one's gonna know. Who's gonna know? Moon says I still love the process even if counting was hard. It felt like furnishing a room, which was so cool. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that aspect of it. Like slowly filling up the room with stuff. I did a bit more of that with Tiny Garden, but I kept the beginning motif kind of centralized instead of spread out. I have not set up a clip command yet, no. But if you will mark down the time, I will. I'll find it later. Kali says, well, Nissa figured out going upstairs with 3 legs much faster than I would like. Oh no. But also yay. Good for Nissa. But also less good for Kali. And Kali's stress level. That was a joke about who's gonna know about the missed stitches. Oh, okay. Who's gonna know? Nobody's gonna know. I'm gonna scrub this VOD and then go house to house and flash you guys with the thing from Men in Black. No one's gonna know. I was really kind of uncertain about how the half stitches would look all together, because on their own, because I'm looking at it like inches away from my face, and on their own they're definitely like giving that kind of brush-like texture. Like you can really tell that it's a diagonal instead of a square, but from a distance the effect is fantastic. And it does do really nice coverage. I also feel, and I don't know if you guys notice this, but if you do half stitch on full coverage or on a kit like this, do you feel like it like fluffs out overnight? That you do the stitches one day and they look just super skinny and raggedy and like there's all this white space, and then you come back the next day and they've like puffed out to fill the space. Okay, Cheryl says it does puff out. I feel less crazy now. That's the cats grooming it. They're helping. And even more when you wash it. Ease. I never used to wash my cross stitches, because I didn't kind of see the point in it. Because I didn't like, they weren't stained or anything. But the colors just pop so much more after you wash it. Everything looks so nice and crispy. Moon says, ever since you told me that, I notice it every time. Because yeah, like, they puff up. Kali says, what count do you think would be best for a 2-strand half stitch for full coverage? I think 20 count is still not quite small enough. I think like a 25 would be where I would go. Moon is doing Rose Library half cross over 1 on 25 count with 2 strands. So they might be better able to answer that question, because I honestly don't have that much experience doing high count. Mike says, to quote Moon from a recent posting, you have to trust the process. In her case, she was referring to backstitching on her Umbrian stitching project. Yeah, a lot of the cases for me, backstitching is trust the process, and then you do it and it looks amazing and you're like, oh, well, I guess, okay, that's fine then. Cheryl says some of the sky on Sunset is 2 strands half cross and it works fine. That's 18 count? Okay, interesting. Like, I think it works fine for coverage. Like, the fabric is covered, but I think on the 20 count, it's still still a rhombus. It's not a square. If that makes sense. Because the thing of cross stitch is that you're making a square stitch to fill the space. And that's what the design is based on. So if you're doing 2 strands over 1 on 25 count, because of the smallness of the fabric, and the plumpness of the thread, that is creating a square. So it's still giving you the desired effect of a square stitch. Whereas this right now, like, you can still tell, even from a distance, you can kind of tell the difference in the sweeping lines of this tree from the very sharp, clear lines of her face. But the thing with the Dimensions kit is that it's working on that to give that watercolor effect to the background. So it's working with that effect instead of ignoring it. But I would say for full coverage or something where you need a square stitch, I don't think going smaller than I don't think going larger than 25 count would give you the same effect. I don't know if any of that just made sense. Moon says depending on the color palette, going up a few counts would help the coverage. That too, yeah. Like if there would be a lot of black, I would go to 28 at least. And Cheryl says, I think it does depend on the color of the floss versus the Ada. So many things boil down to it depends. It's annoying. And Toot says, I'm a rhombus. So, I mean, they have a point there. I am composed of parallel sides. But so many things in this craft boil down to it depends and whatever you feel comfortable with, which I know irritates some people because they just want an answer, right? But the answer so often is try it and see. Do some experimentation. Get messy, make mistakes, learn new things. One thing I'm trying to be better about with cross stitch is floss isn't cheap, but it's relatively cheap. Like, if I spend 20 minutes in a scrap of Ada trying out a new technique, I haven't wasted anything. I haven't wasted money, I haven't wasted time. Like, I can fuck around and find out. Like, there are very few consequences in cross-stitching. And I would rather do that experimentation on a small scale than commit to it on a large scale. Like, I have a large piece of 25 count. And I'm like, oh, this is sweet. I can do, you know, a full coverage. One of the beautiful Thread Geeks full coverage pieces. 2 strands over 1 on this piece of 25 count. I was looking at it the other day and I'm like, I'm kind of curious what the coverage would be on that. So I was like, okay, I'll just do like a 100 by 100 block. I did not like it. I did not like the experience of stitching on the 25 count at all. Like, I did about 20 stitches and then I was like, you know what? I don't know how much more I give this before saying it's not for me. But I'm kind of glad that I did that before committing to doing a, you know, 500,000 stitch giant piece. But at the same time, especially now in the age of social media, sorry for the slurping noises. In the age of social media, and FlossTube and streams and Instagram and Blue Sky, and it's very easy to get stitching FOMO. Or to feel like you should be doing things. Like, everybody else is doing this, so I should be doing this, and I should enjoy it, and I should like doing SALs, and I should be trying to use all of the variegated floss, and I should be doing full coverage, and I should be trying to work with smaller and smaller counts. And I know some of that it's just FOMO. It's you see other people have pretty things and you want pretty things too. And I think some of it is also the neurodivergent need to fit in. That way that we change our mask to match those of the people around us. And in cross-stitch spaces, that would be working on the same kind of project as other people. Using the same kind of materials as other people. Having the same kind of goals as other people. But Toot has been really helping me with this, and in a lot of areas of my life, I'm trying to break myself of giving into that urge to mask, and to mold myself into being something that I'm not, because it's either something that I see other people doing and I enjoy in them, so I want to emulate that, or it's completely unconscious where I'm trying to fit in with them. And I think my desire to do full coverage was one of those. Toot is the FOMO stomper. Yeah, that is very true. Toot has slipped loose the bonds of FOMO. and learn to fly. Lady A said agreed. I'm at an age where I'm learning not to do that. I'm crocheting and I might try to cross stitch one day. I hope you do. I mean, I hope you cross stitch because I find it super enjoyable. And I want other people to get super enjoyable, to find enjoyment. And this is how I found enjoyment, so it might work for you too. Yeah. I don't know if it's so much that Toot is the FOMO stomper. Toot is the biggest advocate for being yourself. Charles says you reference some of the most random stuff. Why? Because I just misquoted poetry at you? And Moon says true. Toot sees us for us and it helps see us for us. Exactly. Yeah, Toot knows. Toot knows when we're putting it on for other people. And it's so helpful when we get FOMO, yeah. The poem I was misquoting was from a pilot, World War II fighter pilot, I think, and it was written after he flew above the clouds for the first time. I've let slip the bonds of Earth or something like that. Lady A says, yes, you crushed this for years, but that 50th anniversary sampler turned you off of it. Yeah, I can see that. Especially something like that where, like, it's more of an obligation stitch. I can definitely see that. Urza, welcome and good morning. Thank you for popping in. Mike says, yes, but that's precisely why I jumped to Twitch from FlossTube. Too many people in those videos stitching in the same things in the same style videos, pretty much saying the same thing. Yes. Yep, there's a lot of, because it becomes its own echo chamber, right? Like, you see other people doing stuff and you're like, oh, that looks cool, I want to do this stuff too. And then you talk about doing stuff and then other people see it and they're like, oh, I want to do stuff too. And then it's just around and around and around it goes, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it definitely influences us. Charles says it's called High Flight. Yes, thank you. I couldn't remember the name of the poem, or the poet. I have to weave in this end, and it's all like fluffy and raggedy and sheddy. Pray for me, friends. Pray. Because I do not want to get out the needle threader. I have one. I hate using it. I think it's because my fingers are so friggin' big. I never feel like comfortable using it. There we go. Last name is McGee, first name John. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm not a big poetry person. I don't enjoy freeform poetry. I like rhyming poetry. I'm a bit of a basic bitch when it comes to poetry like that. I like poetry with structure. And like internal assonance, and I like structured poetry. My favorite poet is Robert Service, which you might know some of his poems because they were kind of like republished as children's stories. The Cremation of Sam McGee is one of his most famous ones, or the Shooting of Dan McGraw. But he was a soldier. He lived in the Arctic for a while, and he lived in Paris for a long time during like the big, kind of the most bohemian of eras. And so he writes about all of it. But his poems are very structured. There's a rhyming structure, there's a couplet structure, like there's a rhythm to them, which some people consider to be like childish or basic. And he wrote a poem about that, which was one of my favorites. It's called the Pullman Porter, and it starts, the Pullman in the porter, the porter in the Pullman car was gracious as they always are. And it goes on to describe this gentleman, and Pullman porters were almost always black, which is not a detail in the poem. It's a historical detail that just makes the poem a bit more interesting. So the Pullman porter recognized him and said, "Oh, can I get your autograph?" And Robert Service gave him the autograph and asked him which of his poems he liked the best, and the Pullman porter said, "Oh, no, it's not for me. It's for my kids. Like, I prefer Yeats," and like name drops a bunch of like fancy poets. The poem cracks me up. It's so funny. But his stuff is really good. I really like, especially his poems about living in Paris. My favorite poem by him is L'Escargot d'Or, which is the Golden Snail. Oh, Tavern of the Golden Snail. I can't remember the next line, but then he goes on to describe some of the patrons of the tavern. With flowing hair and no, what was it? With flowing tie and ragged head, who says Bohemia is dead. 10 sous have I. Something. Anyway, the poem's about like, I only have $10. I have $8 or sous, which would anyway. 8 will buy me a beer, and 2 will be the tip. But I'll just sit here all night and I'll watch the people. I'll watch the writers and the poets and the bohemians go by, and I'll get my fill of life from the Tavern of the Golden Snail. Mike says, on the other hand, your stitching designs, DH, have a distinctive style that is not quite like any of the cool kids. It's quirky and fun, and it's you. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I have been, and Toot has been really, really encouraging me to find my own style.
Thank you, Toot.
And narrow in on what I like designing and not what I feel like I should be designing. Thank you for the hydrate, Toot. Oh, I have to shake that. It's getting draggy. Yes, thank Toot. One says you may enjoy the poems of Brian Bilston. I'll check them out. I mean, I haven't read poetry since college, basically. But some things just stick with you, right? have a random... I don't know where did you come from? Where did you go? Moon is having breakfast with Commander while watching. Hi, Commander! Enjoy your breakfast. Lady A says your little Christmas candy pattern might be perfect to scratch the ADHD you get during patterns. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I like little patterns like that. But I did Christmas treats. I was going to do Easter treats and then I never did because I wasn't happy with it. But I've got a Halloween one coming out that's the same vein. Commander says, hello! I like doing those little roundies. They're fun. I'm kind of glad I like accidentally stumbled into doing my minis quite early on because I really like that style. Charles says JPS is awake but not here. I'll say hi to JPS later then. Toot says, does he say hello or glook 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 glook? If you guys were lucky enough to witness Moon's stream the other night, Commander came and poured her some water and provided the sound effects. So we got French glug 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 sounds. It was incredible. I almost just stuck a straw in my coffee. I did, however, clip it, so it's out there. It's floating out there. It was so funny. And the way he kept going, like, he was trying not to laugh so hard, and, like, he was failing. So he's laughing and still quietly going glook, 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 glook into the mic. Oh, it was hysterical. We're making some decent progress here. I picked a good color to do for stream. One thing that's nice about doing half cross, it goes really fast. Feels like cheating. Oh, oh. Oh, okay, good. That's Moon's clip. So yes, there is the clip I got. Orcher, where are you? And says I also feel like half cross is cheating. Yeah, because it's like, I shouldn't be allowed to stitch this fast. Me summoning the ore jar, trying to see if it's here. Are you here? Are you close? Where are you? It says every time I look at my stitch count on Rose Library, I'm like, this shouldn't be 300 stitches. It says the last glute was so resolute. Commander is trying the crepes with salami, cheddar, and strawberry jam. Oh, that was Paula. Yeah. Story Stitcher. If you guys aren't already in the Discord, we often talk about food and crafting and stuff. Paula cooks and makes delicious things, and then we all want to eat them. And then reminds us that Paula is like a child, not an actual child. The Discord and the streams are 18 plus. Paula is just very young in this community. She's in her early 20s. Gwen is making the Kirby face at crepes. Yay, crepes. Crepes for everyone. I apparently was making tacos for all of Cryptic's chat last night. I made a big portion of taco meat in the crock pot. I think I actually I got a tray of meat from Costco, and usually I don't get that much beef at one time. So I think my proportion of like seasoning and peppers to meat were off. But it still turned out really, really good. And you just throw it in the crock pot and let it go all day. Mike says, as I recall, DH, the average age of your audience is pretty high. Yes, 60% of my audience is over the age of 55 on YouTube. But yes, I made a giant vat of taco meat yesterday, which I need to portion out and freeze. Because then I portion it into like 1 meal servings, so I could just grab a single meal from the freezer. But it stained my hand. Like, I've scrubbed my hands so many times. I am permanently stained by taco seasoning until my next shed, I guess. Oh well. One it says, a short one from Byron Bilston. Jessica Fletcher investigates. Crushed to death. No blood, no note. Just a steel beam. Girder, she wrote. Amazing. She says, why were you putting your hands in the taco meat is the real question. I had to break up the big chunks of beef. No, don't do that. I just happened to get it on my hands while I was cleaning and mixing things. Mike asks, do your snakes shed? Yes, they do. They shed about once a month, every 6 weeks. Actually, hang on. Commander says Paula's recipe is incredible. Oh, good. I'm glad. Just gonna mute for a quick second here, because the thing I was gonna grab is further away than I thought it was. So you can preserve your snake sheds. We don't. and they tend to disintegrate pretty, not pretty easily, but eventually. So we don't really like display them, but this is all of the boys' sheds since we moved into the new house. I keep them in a jar on my desk. It's kind of like keeping your kids' drawings on the fridge because you're really proud of them when they have a good shed. Like this shed, that's the tip of his tail. He got all of it off, look! And when they have like a really big, long, like perfect shed, that means that they're super healthy. Like, the more intact their shed is, the healthier they are. This, I just ripped it. Okay, this one's really cool though. So this was, Sandy. You can tell because it's dark. And you can actually see his eye caps. Like, the head portion stayed so complete. So snakes actually, they don't have eyelids, they don't blink. They actually do have skin over their eyes that protects them. And so when they shed, actually, I'm showing you upside down. That was the inside of his face. This is the outside of his face. When they shed the skin on their eye caps as well. And it all comes off in one piece. It should all come off in one piece, but every time they shed, we do check and make sure that they get their eye caps off, because if the eye caps build up, obviously that's going to cause health problems for them. And that's why you'll often hear snake keepers say that their snake is in blue. Speaking of babies, guess who came to say hello? Yeah, I got him. Look who came out to say hello. Little Mr. Ghosty Face. Since we moved him into his new enclosure, he has barely surfaced. This species is fossorial. Oop, hi, baby. Which means they like to dig and burrow, and that is all he has been doing. He lives underground. So when we see him, we kind of run over and say hi. He's so little. Yeah. Got him? Oh. Okay. Oh, it's okay. Tiny noodle. He's so small. Maybe because so small, but also looks like a little chunk. That's just hog noses. He will stay pretty short. He'll probably max out around 30 inches, but he'll be like chunk. Oh, somebody's mad at me. You guys get to see one of his defense mechanisms. Do you see how flat his head is? That's one of his defense mechanisms. He flattens out his head so he looks like a big scary cobra. Makes him look bigger than he is. We call it pancake mode. Yeah, because clearly we're very intimidated right now. Toot's booping the rostral scale. Maybe he's mad at Pico. Yeah, he's angry. But yeah, he'll stay quite short. But he'll get chunky. Yes, he did hiss at Toot the other day because he's an angry boy. Yeah, but he's also like this big, so we're super scared. Yes, I was saying about being in blue. So, the reason that we say that is when they're getting ready to shed, So basically when they're getting ready to shed, they kind of build up like a layer of oil between their new skin and their old skin, which helps the old skin come off. And you can see that around the eyes because it creates like a blue film over their eyes. So their eyes look like a very pale, cloudy blue, and they're actually pretty blind at this point because they can't see through that film. It will clear up before they actually shed. So if you hear a snake keeper say, "Oh, my boy's in blue," it means he's getting ready to shed. He's going to shed his skin within the next 3 to 5 days ish, depends on the snake. And yeah, if you see a snake with like really pale blue eyes, it means A, they can't see you, and B, they're about to shed. There's your fun snake facts for the day. So yeah, so this is all of our boys' sheds since the new house, and you can see that they're all very much intact. You can see that they tend to shed in 1 or 2 pieces, which is fantastic. So this dark one, this is Sandy, and then you can see this very pale one that's also super thick is Penny. So yeah, so this means that they're doing very well. They have some great husbandry, and they're very well kept, happy boys. But yeah, like you can see the difference in body type. So this is Penny the ball python compared to Sandy the corn snake. So that would be Sandy's belly scales, and then the belly scales are here. Yes, I love that he pancaked for you guys on stream. I'm so glad you got to see that. And Mike says, in the wild, the snakes are very vulnerable when their eyes are blue. They are. So oftentimes you'll hear us say, well, on Toot's stream, if the boys are in blue, she won't like mess with them. She'll and they'll usually tend to hide because they know that they're vulnerable. So they won't come out. They'll hide. They'll try and avoid conflict whenever they can. And Moon says, remember Penny's Gatorade shed? I do remember Penny's Gatorade shed. I accidentally dyed Penny lime green once. Anyway, stream's over. Maybe I will tell you the lime green Penny story another day, but as you can tell, I'm starting to get a bit gravelly. So I am going to wrap up stream. And thank you for saying that we're great snake parents, Lady Argyle. Appreciate that. And yes, Cully, he has not played dead. So Hognoses, their last line of defense is playing dead, which is, it's adorable, but it also means that they're insanely stressed to the point where they have no other recourse and they're sure they're about to die. So we're glad that he hasn't gotten to that point. He has never been that scared when he's with us, which is, it's a very good thing. But yeah, so I'm gonna wrap up stream there. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Unexpected snake learning experience. Yeah, it was fun. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be back tomorrow evening. I only usually stream with my voice once a week. I don't know if you know, I have lung damage, so I only have like 1.5 working lungs, which is why I only stream once a week with my mic on, because it's taxing for me. But yeah, tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. So usually Moon starts later and usually I start earlier, so we kind of split the difference, and we're doing 7 p.m. So I will be co-streaming a Stitchy stream with Moon. We're gonna have a shared chat. You guys can have both of us up on your screens. Please do, because engagement and viewers. But yes, tomorrow, and we're going to be doing the Cozy Autumn Moon Start Along. So bring an autumn themed small that you want to get started, and we're all going to start stuff together. That's going to be fun. All right, so I'm going to throw up all of the ending links. So there's the shop link, go check it out. There's the Patreon link. All free members, you get the monthly freebie in your inbox. You also get a newsletter from me every month, which is going out in a couple of days. So if you want to know what's going on, definitely sign up, join as a free member. Paid members, you have another couple of days to get your votes in for the member selected mini. And yeah, you'll get that in a few days after that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to plug. Advanced. Yes. We're an advanced partner now, or brand ambassador. So if you are looking to get some of the energy, the focus, the hydration blends that Toot and I drink on stream, you can shop online using my referral code and also my coupon code for 10% off at checkout. Okay. Okay, I think that's everything. I'm going to be... Mike's cut. Join the Misfit Sal. Yes, check that in the shop links too. Rest week this week, but we'll be back at it the week after with Clue 4. Toot will be back tomorrow morning with Ghost Church. I will be back Monday afternoon with co-working. And the regular schedule is going to go up tomorrow. So, all that being said, we've got ads coming in, so I'm just going to snooze that one more time. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Stick around one more second. We are going to find someone to raid out to. See if any of the friends are online. First one that popped up was Shed Saturday, and I really thought it was about Snake Shed. Same brain. All right, why don't we go and hang out with Z or Zaristana? I never know how to pronounce that, but that's fine. They're also doing some cross stitch. I love their flippy thing. They're doing their flippy stand thing, very cool. All right, and they're doing shadowing, which is super fancy. So we're gonna head on over there. Oh, I need to do the Toot. Can you just do the raid command, please? It's just !raid. Oh wait, I can do it. Okay. Oops. Double did the thing. Okay. So if you are subbed, copy the first message. If you are not subbed, copy the second message. We are going to start the raid. My friends, I will see you in the Discord server. I will see you in the coffee shop. I will see you in Pow's warm hide. I will see you in the boys' nice, comfy new enclosures. But most importantly, I will see you in my heart. All right. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.